Toronto Raptors lose to the Orlando Magic, who just shot a million threes. They played terrible defense. Let's go to the film room. Orlando made 19 threes tonight, and a lot of that was because of the Raptors' lackluster defense. Orlando isn't the highest volume three-point shooting team, and so the Raptors' scheme initially was to tag on drives or pinch in on drives to help. But, I mean, it was a recipe for disaster against Orlando. Thought their transition defense was poor too. Watch IQ point to Jakob to get the corner, and it just ends up in a Caleb Houston wide open shot. But I do think they just overhelp too much. You know, here they dig in on a Corey Joseph drive and, have to recover out for a Caleb Houston three. You got to respect Caleb Houston, man. That's like the one thing that he is good at. It's shooting the basketball. And that just kept happening, pick and roll, get caught on the screen. Corey Joseph, again, you're pinching in on Corey Joseph as if he's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And Tristan da Silva knocks down this three. And Tristan da Silva, by the way, was awesome in this one. Honestly, had flash. I was watching this game and I'm like, is Franz Wagner back for the Orlando Magic? And oh no, it's Tristan da Silva. Again, Jet Howard, really only thing that he can do is shoot. And so going under on this is not the right call. This is poor on-ball defense from Scotty Barnes. Gets blown by, just pressuring Cole Anthony too much. And you just saw this happen constantly. Bad ball pressure, leading to straight line drives, leading to overhelp, leading to wide open threes. It was just a terrible scheme from the Raptors. Miscommunication here on a switch between Scotty and Ochai. He's too late, and then IQ digs in to help. Wide open shot for Tristan Silva. Same thing here, miscommunication on the switch. Grady is late. Good skip pass from Cole Anthony to Da Silva for the three. Again, bad closeout here by Grady. Take advantage of it. Jamal was forced to help. Kick out. And a three-point shot. And so you get the story, folks. Bad on-ball defense led to a bunch of driving opportunities, led to a bunch of threes for the Orlando Magic. It was bad. It was a bad defensive game. I would actually say it was a terrible defensive game from the Toronto Raptors. After being good against the Brooklyn Nets, and again, the Nets and Magic, different levels of competition. There's going to be levels to this. The Raptors are not a good team right now, and they're still trying to figure out what they are. To me, this looked like a group that went in saying the Orlando Magic cannot shoot the basketball. We are going to dare them to shoot the basketball. And that plan fell right. Like they just got destroyed. They fell flat on their face with that plan. That's the saying that I wanted to say. But yeah, it was just bad. It was really, really bad. And I think the issue I had with it wasn't that they came in with that game plan. It was that they saw that game plan was getting them cooked, and they didn't necessarily adjust. They just banked on the fact that Orlando was going to stop shooting as many threes. And you know what? There is something to that, because this was a bit of a lucky shooting game from the Orlando Magic. That being said, you do have to make it hard on them. And I don't think pinching in on Corey Joseph drives is the way to go defensively. Even if that is what the scheme dictates, you have to be able to adapt. You have to be able to be malleable. And also, part of that is being better on ball. Darko Rajakovic mentioned in the preseason he wanted the MIG, the most important guy on defense, to be the guy guarding the ball. They wanted to take more, they wanted to have more pride in guarding on the ball. And we didn't see that tonight. We did not see that at all tonight. I thought there were a lot of Raptors that were getting cooked. Grady was getting cooked. Jamal Shed was getting cooked. Scotty was getting cooked. IQ was getting cooked. And it was a really, really poor effort from the Raptors' point of attack defense. Not a lot that I saw that I liked from that end. I want to talk about Emmanuel quickly as well, who struggled in this one. Wasn't as effective as he was in his, return game. Had 11 points, 11 assists still, but 4 of 17 shooting, 1 of 9 from 3. I like the fact that he got up 9 threes, to be honest with you, but I want to get into some of his shot making and shot quality here that I think is what he struggled with. And by the way, Orlando is a really good defense, even without Franz Wagner and without, Paolo Banchero and Jalen Suggs, who left this game with a really, really weird back injury. I hope he's okay. Suggs is one of my favorite players to watch. I got to interview him a couple years ago, so I'm always rooting for Suggs. But really strange injury there. I hope he's okay. Had to get wheelchaired off the floor. And yeah, even without those guys, the Magic are still a really, really good defensive unit. If you sit and watch Magic games, Jamal Mosley will be yelling out coverages live for the Magic. And so a young team with their really, really good coach can out execute you because they're just really solid and connected on the defensive end. And they play hard as hell. They are really, really hard to compete against because they are going to fucking apologies. They're going to out effort you as hard as possible. Like they're just a tough, hard-nosed team. They really do the try-hard stuff to the umpteenth degree when it comes to that. You know, the Toronto Raptors were try-hards for the first couple months. The Orlando Magic, their bread and butter is being try-hards. And so they did a great job against Emmanuel Quickley. Better point of attack defenders on the Orlando Magic than there are for the Brooklyn Nets. IQ struggled in this one. Let's go to the film room. Thought the Magic did a good job of forcing him to help. Tough shots in the paint, and really tough one here. He gets blocked. Rear side contests on the three-point shot here to make it tough on him. And that's important because I think IQ has a slow release as a three-point shooter. And so he needs a little bit more time than usual. You know, his name is Quickly, but the three-point shot isn't as quick as you'd want it to be. So the release is slow, making it a little bit harder for him to actually get that high volume that he wants to. See that here in transition. Takes a little bit to load up. All the way for Jonathan Isaac to be able to get a contest, even hesitates on that. You can see it here too. De Silva goes under the screen. That's a lot of daylight to be able to let this shot fly. This one he makes, but just watch how long it takes for him to load up to make this shot. Same one here. Takes a little bit of time to load up. I'm not necessarily sure there's a solution for that, to be honest with you guys. I think the solution is having really good screeners. So Jakob Poeltl being a guy that screens for IQ is really important. Using IQ off the ball, you know, so he doesn't have to settle via dribble into a pull-up jump shot, and instead he can just kind of catch and shoot is a way to kind of counteract that and make it sped up a little bit. But that's just who IQ is. And so I think against good point of attack teams, that's a bit more of an issue than anything else. And, you know, the rest of the game was hard for him too. In the pick and roll, wasn't able to settle into those floaters. Good job defensively by Cole Anthony, forcing him into that tough shot. So IQ didn't have a good offensive game. Scotty had a good fourth quarter, got into his mid-range bag a little bit. You know, he had that like primal scream that he had as the Raptors were cutting the lead. But, you know, they lost this game by 9, I believe, or 11. I can't remember. It was much bigger than that. It felt much bigger than that. It felt like it was harder for this team to get back into it just because of the barrage of threes Orlando was making, and because the Raptors weren't playing that well of an offensive game either. They really didn't have any sort of rhythm. No one was getting anything going. And I think part of that is, you know, Orlando's defense was really good. This is a really, really good team. Executes really well. You know, they kind of exude excellence, something that the Raptors should aspire to do. And I don't mean that as some sort of shot to the Raptors organization. I more so mean like they know what winning is. The Magic now know what winning is over the last couple seasons, and it kind of permeates throughout the rest of the group. You have guys like Queen and Jet Howard and De Silva and guys like that kind of just stepping up into their roles and filling in and doing incredibly well. And so that's a culture of winning and a culture of excellence. That's what the Raptors are trying to build, folks. I'm not saying that they are far away from doing that. I think, you know, I've been on wax here saying like Darko is trying to instill that as much as possible. You just need the players to be able to buy into that. They did not tonight. The defense was not good. Defensive execution was not good as well. And so the Orlando Magic beat your Toronto Raptors. Not much to say about this one other than that. At the end of the day, bit of a reality check after a good win against the Brooklyn Nets, which I think is kind of expected. The Raptors have a tough road ahead. They're missing RJ Barrett offensively. Hope RJ gets back. You know, that's the one missing piece here health-wise. They were healthy pretty much for the rest of the team other than Bruno Fernando and RJ Barrett. And so we'll see what happens here because I think, you know, RJ will come back. They'll look a little bit better offensively. How does that look defensively? How does the rotation look? And they're headed into a really tough stretch of games. So should be a nice test for the Toronto Raptors. They've been dealing with a lot of tests recently, but the grind continues, folks. Like, comment, subscribe, do the things you guys usually do. Appreciate you guys, as always, for tapping into Raptors Republic. Thank you very much. See you guys later. Peace.